we will record this whole thing to the cloud. So, hey, welcome everybody. It is, can you believe it? We're halfway through October. I mean, halfway through October. That's kind of crazy. So here we are. You know, well, my internet is really unstable. Anyway, diamond training. You know, these Sunday night trainings, I try to give you information that is relative to growing your business, right? So, you know, that's what I try to give. I'm gonna stop that crazy thing. I'm gonna hide that. I'm going to hide that video for a second because it was jumping all around. It was making me crazy. So diamond training, you know, my job, if you're going to let me, is try to keep you on track, right? My job is to try to keep you on track. Your job is to allow me to do that. So, you know, if the two of us get together, then we're going to do great things, you know? So, you may not realize it when it happens, but sometimes a kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you. Well, you know, coming from someone who's taken a lot of kicks to the teeth, I was a kickboxer when I was a kid, right? I thought I was a tough guy. And as a result of that, you might notice my pearly white smile. Well, those are not originals. Right, so those are others. Those are not God-given. They were anyway. So, you know, a kick in the teeth is sometimes a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Excuses or results. You can't have both, right? I mean, that's what Les Brown was talking about. You know, no excuse is acceptable, right? And you can read all kinds of clever motivational sayings all day. It won't replace getting off your butt and doing the hard work. So, you know, and that's what it is. This is, you know, I'm going to give you some information that hopefully will make the hard work a little bit easier. And there's what time it is, guys. If you don't know what time that is, that means that guy doesn't even need a pole, right? The fish are jumping in the boat. And if you haven't realized that yet, that's what time it is. So it's time to not procrastinate anymore. You know, if you procrastinated, if you sat on the bench, if you waited for something, it's time to get off the bench, get in the game, and build as hard as you can over the course of the next 12 months. You know, 2020 is going to be a massive year, so I'm suggesting that everybody get in the game. My job, again, is to give you the life that I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed just an amazing life ever since. Well, it was a good life prior to my getting exposed to network marketing, but then it became outrageous. Then it became even better. I mean, it was not only because of the money. Now, the money was a big part of it. Don't get me wrong. You know, because the money afforded us to have and do things that we couldn't do when we had and owned our advertising agency. Yes, I made pretty good money, but I didn't make the kind of money that I made in network marketing. So, you know, if you're just kind of stuck, then pay close attention to what's going on, because what you're about to see, I mean, you know, what we had available to us was almost anything, right? Vacations, cruises. I mean, we went on unlimited vacations anytime we wanted to. Now think about that. Anytime we wanted to. We went on, I don't know, we've been on 30, 40 cruises. We've been everywhere on the globe on a cruise ship. We, you know, always flew first class. The girls always flew first class. They were, you know, chairman club members and always were upgraded to first. Best hotels, you know, best suites. We had vacation homes. I had a vacation home in upper area of Arizona in Pine Top. I had another home in Evergreen, Colorado, and I had a 3-bedroom penthouse on 7 Mile Beach in Grand Cayman. It was just a lifestyle that we had never thought about that it would ever be that way. But as a result of network marketing, it became that way, right? We had houses. Now, these are just 3 of the houses. That's the house in Vineyard Bay in Austin, Texas. That's the house on the water here in Wilmington. And then this is the home right now that we're in that is part of an equestrian neighborhood. So we've lived a great lifestyle. We haven't wanted for anything. Our children grew up. I mean, they say that they had a fairy tale, childhood because it was a fairy tale, and it was really a fairy tale for all of us. I'm going to tell you why most people fail. And if you heard Les Brown, you heard it, right? Most people fail because no commitment, no belief, or both. So, it really comes right down to it. What's your commitment? What's your commitment level? I mean, is your commitment level to be here a year from now? If it is, then you're going to have to spend money, right? You're going to have to spend $160 a month, and for 11 months, because you've already bought a business builder package. You're going to have to get on a loyalty purchase, 100 BV, right? $160 a month. That's $2,360 a year. That's not a very big commitment, right? That's not a very big commitment. What about 15 hours a week? A couple of hours a day. That's 780 minutes a week. It's nothing, right? It's just nothing. So you need to just commit to the business, do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. And like, Les said, no excuses are acceptable. If you don't have a belief in the network marketing industry, if somebody is, pull that away from you, then do whatever it takes in order for you to get that belief back. If you don't have a belief in your abilities, then we need to talk, right? Because everybody has the ability to build a team within this network marketing community, and especially in Valentis at the time that we're in. So, you couldn't be in a better place at a better time than where we're at right now. And again, one of the things that I'm going to always talk about are the things that are the pitfalls, right? The danger zones, the landmines, right? This is a simple business. So don't make it so damn difficult, right? Have fun with it. It's just a way of exposing people to a miraculous product, to a miraculous company at the right time. You're doing them a favor. Remember that. You're doing them a favor, and just do it. Stop assuming that somebody's not interested. Stop making excuses. And like Bob Newhart would say, just stop it, right? So keep it all simple, keep it all fun. Stop assuming, and I hear that all the time, oh, this person won't be interested because of this, and this person won't be interested because of that, and this person won't be interested because of that. How do you know, right? How do you know that is the case? You're probably wrong. When the guys pitched me on joining Valentis, you know what? I said no, that I wasn't going to build another team, but the reality of that, and what and I hate to admit it, but the reality was that I didn't know if I could. Yeah, 30 years in the industry, yes, made a lot of money, but it's easier to talk about the past than it is to do something today, right? It's easier to talk about your successes of the past, and a lot of networkers have done that. They've just stayed out of the industry and, oh, I was this, and oh, I was that, and oh, I was that, but that was 20 years ago. You know, to get up and do it again, I had a bunch of fear about that. And then I said, you know what? What the hell? I mean, what have I got to lose? You know, I have nothing to lose except, the 40 pounds that I was carrying around. So I started drinking coffee all the time, and I became a product of the product. Could be the elder spokesperson because I've got washboard abs now. I mean, at my age, and I'm sorry I'm not going to tell you my age, but most of you guys can kind of figure it out. It's over 50. When you assume, right, you make an ass out of you and me, right? So let's not assume. Let's go after everybody. The more successful a person is, the more potential they have, right? The more potential, the bigger sphere of influence they have, right? So don't be afraid. If you're afraid to talk to somebody, come and get me. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. And neither is Rick, and neither is John, and neither is Dave. Those fears left a long time ago. So don't be a dream stealer, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of people in our lives, or maybe I should put don't talk to a dream stealer. There's so many people in our life that want to give you good advice, and their good advice is don't get ahead, right? Don't do anything crazy. Keep working and keep getting, your measly paycheck from that life-sucking job that you're going to, because it provides the necessary, amount of income we need to barely survive, but not thrive, right? So, don't do anything to upset the apple cart. And, luckily my wife wasn't like that. Yes, she gave me she gave me a big hassle about, leaving and selling our business of 16 years and running off into the network marketing industry like I did. But you know what? It all turned out, right? Because I knew it was going to turn out. I had to make it turn out, right? So don't listen to those dream stealers. The process, I'm going to talk about this, and you'll hear me talk about this all the time. Submit to the process or fail, right? First thing you've got to do is you've got to purchase a business builder pack. There's no other way to do this. I mean, yes, there's other packages that you can buy, and as long as we're talking about that, you can't duplicate buying in at $59. That's not a duplicatable process, right? You can't duplicate buying a 3-pack. You can't duplicate buying a 6-pack of product because it's cheaper for people. It's not helping them. It's not helping them. The way that you help them is to show them and explain to them why they have to invest $600 in a business builder pack. Then you have to show them what to do with that business builder pack. So I hope that you got that. I know some people are doing some things, offering small packages because it's less expensive. Wrong thing to do. Let me just explain it like that. Wrong thing to do. You've got to be not afraid to call all of your friends and tell them the miraculous product and company that you've discovered, because 99.9% of the people on the planet have never heard of Valentis, have never heard of Slim Roast Optimum Coffee, have never heard, most people don't even have a clue what network marketing is. They think it's one of those pyramid deals, right? So you've got to take them through the process. You got to send out sample packs. If your team did what you did last week, would you be happy with their results? Probably not, right? So you got to kick it up a notch, right? You got to kick it up a notch. I'm always, always, always prospecting. I mean, I'm prospecting all the time, and I'm, continuously running into old friends and reminiscing and, talking about, who's still alive, so, I mean, when you get my age, there's a lot of people that have passed on, right? And so I want to catch them before they go. So you got to be a follow-up monster, right? You got to be one of those people that has the tenacity of a pit bull or a Doberman, right? You've got to stay in the hunt, right? To follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up, because you know what? It takes 12 follows. You got to follow up 12 times before somebody even starts to pay attention. So it's up to you. The fortune, and you guys have heard this a million times, the fortune is in the follow-up. Why do they say that? Because most people quit right after the first or second no. Very, very few people ever go to the third no. God forbid you get to the fourth no, and the fifth no is kind of, taboo, right? You got to go past that, because all of those things, there's just the right time for everybody. There's a right time for everybody, and you've got to stay in the flow, and you've got to stay in the hunt long enough until you catch somebody at the right time. So following up, and I can't say enough about three-way calls. If I could do anything tonight, it would be to implant, my phone number on a speed dial on your phone, because I want to help you talk to all of your friends, right? Because I want to tell them my story. I want to tell them the story of Valentis. I want to tell them, why they need to be involved now. Because that life-sucking job that they have is not going to cut it. Yes, it's going to pay a couple of bills, but it's not going to give them the life that they have always dreamt about. And believe me, folks, people still have those dreams. They've just been squashed, right? They've been squashed down and stepped on because life has got in the way. So, follow up, three-way, 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 three-way. So this is a simple business, and again, just keep it simple and keep it fun. So don't get confused with easy. I mean, that's the easiest way. This is a simple business. Don't get that confused with easy, because it's not easy. There are so many ups and downs in this business that roller coaster of emotions usually takes somebody out. Right? They just can't cope with people saying no. They just can't cope with, how their friends might feel. They can't cope with how somebody might react to them negatively or whatever. They just can't cope with any of those things. So they quit. And the best thing to do is get trained. Look, it's a Sunday night. I know a lot of people have got a lot of other things to do, like washing the dog and, probably going to Walmart or something. But, this is our time together, right? This is the time, the 30 minutes, the 40 minutes, the 45 minutes, the hour that we spend, together, where I try to help you move your business from where it is to diamond, to double diamond, to triple diamond, and to blue diamond and beyond. So, I'm going to do my best to do that if you guys will participate with me. There should be, instead of 19 people, there should be 190. There should be 590 people. There's thousands of people on this team, and they should all be here. So consistent effort. That's what these Sunday night calls are about, right? That's what the Monday night, the Tuesday night, the Wednesday night, the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturdays. I mean, all the calls, that is consistently staying engaged, right? If you don't have a mentor, somebody that you can go to, get one, right? Find one, and if if you don't have one, come to me, I'll help you, right? If you're not sure about anything, no questions are stupid, right? There's only people that are stupid that don't ask questions. They just got to guess at things. So ask questions. I get questions from people all the time, and they call me and they go, hey, I just got a few questions, to ask you. Hey, let's go. Let's get your questions answered, right? So if you're not sure, then by all means ask. Patience. Boy, that's one of the things that I've had to, really, really get good at. I'm not a real patient person. I'm not a very patient driver. I've become better over the course of the years, but I'm really trying to work towards being more patient. The ability to tolerate, and accept a delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. I see people blowing right through Triple Diamond, going to Blue Diamond, going to Royal Diamond that have had no experience. That is it rubs me the wrong way. Let me just put it to you like it is, right? Because I have the experience. Other people on this Zoom have that experience. There's people on this Zoom, I know, that have got way more experience than I do in this industry, way more qualified. And, I know that they're patiently going through and building their business. So, and again, guys, this is a business. There are going to be ups and downs. There's going to be peaks and valleys. There are going to be things that have happened or do happen or always happen, that, you just got to cope with. It's just life. That's just how it is. So, treat it like a business. Focus on income producing activities. How many people did you talk to about the Valentis opportunity this past week? What is that number? What's that number look like? Are you happy with it? If you are, then God bless you, right? How about the Valentis products? How many products did you share with people? Again, the only person you've got to be to get their approval is the person in the mirror, right? So if you're happy with those results, then that's great. If you're not, then you've got to kick it up a notch, right? How many sample packs did you give away? Only you know. Right? There's no way for us to follow up. How many follow-up phone calls did you make today, yesterday, last week, this month? How many three-ways have you done? And, like I said all the time, that if you need to keep a chart and keep a running total of those things and look at it daily, weekly, and then look at what the totals look like monthly, you're going to be able to evaluate your business very, very quickly. But this is how you get to diamond. This is not very difficult, right? This is not very difficult. You talk about the opportunity, you talk about the products, you let people try the products, you follow up with them, and you do a three-way so that we can validate the story. I mean, that is really not very difficult. So, and guys, it is a numbers game. So if your number is, I'm going to talk to 5 people, well, the likelihood of you being successful talking to 5 people is probably slim to none. So that's not much of a commitment. I'm going to talk to everybody that I've ever known, right? I'm going to find them if they're still alive, right? So I'm going to find them, and it's my obligation, it's my duty, my responsibility to find that person and tell them the story. Now, it might not be the right time for them, but that's okay, right? I'll just stay in touch with them. I'll ask for permission to, hey, if you don't mind, I'll just stay in touch with you, kind of keep you updated on what's going on. I just ran into an old buddy of mine, Glenn Smith, over in Dubai. And he's doing something, and he looks great. He looks healthy. It looks like he's making a lot of money. And that's great, but you just never know. I said, hey, Glenn, glad to touch base with you. We'll stay in touch with one another. Submit to the process again. People need to get results off the coffee, and it starts with a phone call and a conversation to a friend. So again, it's not very difficult. I talk about taking that package of 350 Slim Roast Optimum single serving sticks, right, and putting them into packages, right? 10 sticks in a package, 35 packages to give away, and give them away to the people that you have taken through the process, right? And then you're going to get a X number of, yeses out of that whole thing. You will definitely get X number of yeses if you're willing to follow up with people. Now, if you're not willing to follow up, I'll never forget, there was a kid in the neighborhood back in 1987. He was I won't mention his name, but if he ever watches this, he'll know who I'm talking about. He handed me a videotape, a VHS tape. That's all we had back then, right? And he said, hey, would you watch this? This looks like a great opportunity. I'd really, appreciate your opinion. Well, I never watched the tape. I stuck it, on my bookshelf in my office, and never, ever, and he never followed up. He was too afraid to follow up, and he didn't understand, that all he had to do was grab his upline, somebody who was making $40, $50, $60, $70,000 a month, and call me, and then I would have paid more attention. But he never followed up. And one day I walked into a meeting that he was hosting and presenting, and you should have seen the look on his face. His jaw dropped down, to his stomach, and he just stood there kind of dumbfounded. And then after he, got back to his composure again, he hurried up through the presentation, and he came back there and he said, I knew you were going to join. He said, I just knew you were going to join. And quite frankly, I had forgotten all about it. And then he reminded me that he gave me that videotape. So it's all about this duplication process, guys. It's all about 35, samples going out, 7 people saying yes, and then duplicating that. Those 7 people sending out their 35 each to now 245, 20% of those say yes. And, some people are going to get better than 20%. I know some people that can send out 35 and get 35 yeses. I know some people that can send out 350 and get no yeses, right? Because they just don't have the credibility. They just don't have that sphere of influence with the people that they're talking to. But, even somebody who sends out 350 will eventually wind up sponsoring somebody, right? I mean, because the story is too good. So, you've got to get into duplication in order to obtain results. So, I talk about this on all the business briefings that I do, and it says once you decide that you want things to change, you've got to want things to change. You've got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You've got to be, at wit's end, when saying, hey, I've had it. This life-sucking job, everything, I hate it. I'm not going anymore. And, there's a reason Les Brown talked about it on one of his videos, and I guess that's where I picked it up, that, more heart attacks happen between 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning than any other time, because people would rather die than to go to work, right? So it's up to us to give them an alternative. See, they just don't know what they don't know. So, once you decide that you want things to change, nothing or no one will keep you from reaching your goal. You're like a bull elephant, right? You're headed down the path. The rest of it is simple. It's all mechanical. It's all, what do you have to do? And that's the simple part. So I want you to think back real quick with me, back to 2009. It was only 10 short years ago. So what were you doing? What kind of money were you making? What was your life like? What was your car? Where did you live? And then I want you to flash forward and think about what's happened over that course of 10 years, and think about how quickly those 10 years disappeared, right? I mean, I know how quickly it disappeared for me. I remember our 5 children being born, and I watched them grow up, move out, and it was like a blink, right? It happened in an instant. And so, 10 years is nothing. So if you don't want the next 10 years to go by and be like the last 10 years, now is the time that you need to do something about it. So make a commitment. Let's do this, right? It's a $600 investment. It's $20 to Valentis. It's, the other money for product. And let's get started building your team, because again, there'll never be another time like this in Valentis ever, ever, ever. Let me just make sure that you understand that there will never be another time like this ever again. And, here's some of the nuts and bolts, right? The nuts and bolts. Prospecting conversation with your friends. Hey, Bob, this is Tom. How's that life-sucking job you're doing? Yeah, it's okay. Hey, Bob, let me ask you a question. I've got a plan. I've got a plan to get us to $25,000 a month residual income in 2 years or less. You interested? And more than likely, Bob is going to say, yeah, I'm interested. Who do we have to kill? No, that's another thing. What do we have to do, right? Hey, you don't have to do anything. I'm going to send you a video. Just watch it and call me after you watch it, okay? Sure. Yep. Send it. Okay. Hey, I found a company we can make a fortune with if we hurry, right? A sense of urgency, right? A sense of urgency and a sense of excitement in your conversation and your voice, right? It's all in your inflection of how you say things. You can't say, hey, man, I found this great company, and oh, hey, kids, be quiet over there. I found this great company, and what was I saying? Oh, yeah, we can make a fortune with. That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work, right? So you gotta deliver it. When Bob calls you back, hey, Bob, what'd you think about the video? You're a coffee drinker, right? Bob says yes. Yeah. Hey, you told me you wanted to lose some weight. No matter how hard you tried, you never could lose any weight. Is that right? Yeah. Well, hey, Bob, I invested $600 in some weight loss coffee inventory with a company called Valentis. It's kind of like buying a franchise, but it's not a franchise, right? Because I thought it was an awesome opportunity, right? I had never heard of them until I watched that video. Had you ever heard of them? No, probably not. 9 times out of 10, people are going to say no. Hey, they're a 5-year-old company that's done over $125 million in sales, and they introduced a weight loss coffee in June of 2018 that is awesome, that is just producing results like crazy. In fact, man, I got to drinking the coffee, lost 9 pounds the first week, lost 18 pounds the first month, and now washboard abs and 40 pounds, right? I went from 215 to 175. Outrageous. Total no effort whatsoever, drinking coffee and shrinking, right? I mean, that's outrageous. Here's the business partner conversation. If Bob is a player, right, not a bean counter, nothing against bean counters, but not a bean counter, the conversation might go like this, hey, Bob, I'm looking for a few people that want to do this with me. It'll be a blast. It'll cost you $600 for initial inventory, $160 a month starting next month to stay active. You interested in doing this with me? Great. Let me send you some samples until your product comes so you can experience this stuff. It is absolutely awesome. So, a conversation like that. Now, is it going to be exactly like that? No, it's not. Those are my words and the way I say things. You're going to craft it the way you say things. But do I want you to kind of stay in the framework? Yeah, stay in the framework so you don't go chasing rabbits down different holes. Are you interested in losing weight? I want you to get a sample of this magic coffee. I'll send you 10 samples under one condition. You drink them all yourself. No sharing with anybody else. Bob says, hey, I agree. Send me those samples and let me see how it tastes. Sure. Let me make sure that I've got your email address and your address. Hey, Bob, one more thing. Valentis pays me for spreading the word, right? What I mean is that if you buy, I earn money that is paid from Valentis, right? They don't advertise or put their products in stores. It's all done through referrals, right? Word of mouth referrals. So don't go buying any stuff online. You never know what you might get. So give me your word. Fair enough. Okay, great. Last question. If our magic coffee works as well for you as it did for me, you're probably going to want to start sharing this with the people you know, right? Make some extra money. You're okay making money referring people to a great product, right? Great. Okay. Then I'm going to register you in our free referral system so you can take a look at the potential, right? You're going to get an email from Valentis, and I'll walk you through all of those things, when we talk next. I'm about to wind things up, and, the last question that I want to ask is why? Why is it that you joined Valentis? I know a lot of you have already shared your why with me. If any of those things have changed and you want to revisit that, by all means, please feel free to do so. I love getting those text messages. So just text me, email me. If you have to write it in a book form, go ahead and do that. And just let me know what it is and what you want. What it is and why it is and what you want from Valentis. And let's see if we can't, partner up and I can help you get there a little bit quicker. So you're only one decision away from your success. Success and failure are separated by one decision. I can give you 100 different examples of my quest to be successful, and the decisions I didn't make and the decisions I made, led me down a certain path. And had I made the other decision, it would have led me down, another path. And I know everybody has probably thought about that, but I sat in a hangar with someone that was hiding one of his jets, and from the people that repossess jets. And he had this vision, right? He had this vision of having jets flying all over the planet, delivering packages and boxes. I says, hey, that's why we have the mail, right? There were 6 people in that hangar. And I said, that's why we have the mail, and that's why we have UPS. And, I was really not interested at all. And this sounded like the craziest conversation I had ever heard of in my life. And I walked out, and so did almost everybody else. A couple of guys stayed. I thought they were crazy for staying. Well, that guy went out to start a little company called Federal Express. His name was Fred Smith. I'll never forget that encounter because, had I made that decision and moved that direction, no telling where my life would have gone and in what direction and the kind of income that I might have been able to make. But I chose not to do that and go back to, what I was doing. So, and again, I've got story after story after story after story. I know you guys have seen this before, but it really is so apropos to everything that we're talking about because, how long are you willing to work on your dream? Is it going to be one of those things where the first person that, challenges you, you're going to give up on it and you're going to walk away? Is it, something that happens within the company that you're not really happy with and you're going to walk away from it because they didn't take care of something or one thing or another? That's not, that's not going to get you to where you want to go. I'm going to play this.
In the Far East, they have something that's called the Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. They have to water and fertilize the ground where it is every day. And it doesn't break through the ground until the 5th year. But once it breaks through the ground, within 5 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now the question is, does it grow 90 feet tall in 5 weeks or 5 years? The answer is obvious. It grows 90 feet tall in 5 years. Because at any time, had that person stopped watering and nurturing and fertilizing that dream, that bamboo tree would have died in the ground. And I can see people coming out talking to a guy out there watering and fertilizing the ground that's not showing anything. Hey, what you doing? You've been out here a long time, man. And the conversation in the neighborhood is, you growing a Chinese bamboo tree, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Well, even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see ain't nothing showing. So how long you been working on this? How long have you been working on your dreams? And you have nothing to show. This is all you got to show. People gonna do that to you. And some people, ladies and gentlemen, they stop. Because they don't see instant results. It doesn't happen quickly. They stop. Oh, no. You got to keep on watering your dream. That is not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. A lot of things are going to happen that will catch you off guard. And so therefore you've got to deal with and handle it as it comes. And not only that, but that faith and patience drives you into action. You've got to keep moving and keep plugging away. See, during those hard times, we didn't know how you're going to make payroll during those times when you failed and things didn't work out. They were nowhere to be found. But you know what I discovered? When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, it's sweet to you. It's good to you. Why? See, when it's hard and there's a struggle, see, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. And people know that you know what life is, that you have embraced life. You knew it was hard, but you did it hard.
So that's it. We're gonna do it hard, right? And life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So I love this quote from Marshall. I can make anyone a millionaire if they simply just give themselves up to the process. And how true. You know, here's our schedule. If you don't have this, you need to make sure that you reach out to somebody, get it, print it, put it on the wall, and invite. Now, if you want, 5 people to show up, invite 10, right? If you want 10 people to show up, invite 20. Always invite twice as many people because the rest of them always have something else to do, right? So they have washing the dog or doing all of those other crazy things. So make sure that you've got that. Russian schedule, Spanish schedule, training on Saturday with Mitch, and I always drop by and help him whenever possible, and then the Sunday night training that I do. The other thing that we do, guys, is we build for events, right? And we're so lucky and we're so fortunate to have people like Dr. Chi, flying around. Dr. Chi lives in California, and he's doing this event up in the San Francisco Bay Area. So, that's right around the corner. Who do you know? Who do you know? You need to ask everybody, who do you know? And because somebody will know somebody who'll know somebody who'll know somebody in San Francisco in that area. And hopefully you can get them to this event. Because I know if they go to these events, they're going to see people making more money monthly than they're making annually, and something's going to go off inside of their head, just like it did with me back in 1987, and they're going to say, you know what, if they can do that, I can do this. If they can do this, I can do this. And that's what happens, guys. The next event is, again, it's Dr. Chi and his road show, right? Las Vegas, October the 26th. So from the Bay Area to Las Vegas, I'm sure that Big John, no, Big John's going to be somewhere else. So Las Vegas, you know, so who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? John is going to be in Minneapolis with Dave and another group of leaders. I know that Diamond Mitch is headed to Minneapolis to work with some of his team up there. And, you know, hopefully there won't be a blizzard, but you never can tell about Minneapolis. I went to Minneapolis, I'll never forget. I left Scottsdale, Arizona, you know, in the wintertime. It was January. I left in a little sport coat and, you know, dress shoes, and jumped on an airplane, flew up to Minneapolis to go do a meeting. Didn't bother to check the weather. I mean, why would anybody check the weather? And when I got there, there was the worst blizzard that they'd ever had, right? And everybody looked at me walking off the airplane in a, you know, a little sport coat and loafers. And they're all bundled up in parkas and boots with sled dogs outside. So definitely check the weather. So Minneapolis coming up. So this is a volunteer army. You know, that's the good news. That is also the bad news, right? The volunteer army, you only can work with the willing. You can't get them like they did us in the service, get us up out of bed at the crack of dawn because your drill sergeant, you know, wanted you to do something. You know, this is a work with the willing. Not everybody is going to come along and join you. No matter what you do, there will still be those people that will sit on the sideline watching you go ahead and make a fortune. And then they're going to say, you know what, you're just so lucky. Don't take the no's personally. I guess if that's the one thing that I want you to take away is that no's aren't, you know, that difficult. Just accept it and move on. So you're looking for the extraordinary. You're looking for the person that is that extraordinary type of individual, and you'll know who that person is, male or female. You'll know who it is. And you know, I love this. I saw it, you know, 30 years ago, and it's SW next. It means some will, some won't, so what, next, right? You have to take that philosophy. Some will, some won't, so what, next. Move on, right? Move on. You know, the more successful I got, the luckier I got, right? People always just said, man, you're just so lucky. You just are able to hit those companies, or you just do things at the right time. And I go, yeah, but you don't understand the pain and suffering that I went through in order to get to be so lucky, right? So you're going to experience that. So it's showtime, guys. So like Beetlejuice says, it is showtime. It is the middle of October. Let's blow through the rest of the month of October. Let's load up the call tomorrow night, Monday night, 8 p.m. East Coast time. Let's load up the call Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday. Let's blow through the week and let's do what we do best, and that is invite people to hear the story of Valentis. So with that, God bless everybody. Thanks for joining me here this evening. I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording. Hopefully it did record. Yes, it did. Okay, good.